In a quiet village called Umuk, surrounded by lush green hills and the rhythm of chirping birds, there lived a man named Obiajulu, meaning the heart is at rest. But nothing about Obiajulu's heart was at rest. Born into the wealthiest family in the village, he was the only son of Enz Okafor, the most powerful man in Umuk. Obiajulu was spoiled from a young age, growing up with servants at his beck and call, and believing the world revolved around him. Obiajulu had a younger sister, Adanna. She was a kind and gentle soul, beloved by everyone in the village for her beauty and humility. Adanna, unlike her brother, carried herself with grace and respect, helping their aging parents on the farm and assisting women during market days. But while the villagers admired Adanna, Obiajulu resented her. He despised the praise she received, feeling it stole attention that should be his. His jealousy festered into something dark, something wicked. It all began during the New Yam festival, when the village was alive with dancing, drumming, and feasting. Obiajulu, after drinking too much palm wine, returned home in a drunken haze. He passed Adanna's room and saw her asleep, her face glowing under the moonlight. Something twisted in his heart, a vile urge he could not control. That night, he stole into her room, having slipped a sleeping powder into the water she drank before bed. The darkness in him took over, and he committed an unthinkable act. Adanna woke the next morning with an ache in her body and confusion in her heart. She had no memory of the night before, but she knew something was wrong. When she confronted Obiajulu about the strange bruise on her arm, he laughed it off. "You fell while you were carrying firewood yesterday," he said. "Be more careful next time." Night after night, Obiajulu repeated his vile act, each time drugging Adanna to keep her unaware. Adanna became weaker and more withdrawn, her once bright eyes dulled with fear she couldn't explain. One day, while fetching water from the river, she confided in her closest friend, Nkem. "Something is happening to me," she whispered. "I feel as though my spirit is being stolen in the night." Nkem, wise beyond her years, advised Adanna to stay awake one night and pretend to sleep. Adanna agreed, though fear gripped her heart. That night, Adanna pretended to drink the water Obiajulu gave her but secretly poured it outside. She lay still, her heart pounding as she waited. At midnight, she heard the creak of her door. Obiajulu entered, his footsteps heavy and deliberate. Adanna kept her eyes shut even as tears streamed down her cheeks. The next morning, she told Nkem everything. Nkem, horrified, advised her to speak to the village priest, Dibia Nachi, a man known for his wisdom and ability to invoke the gods' justice. Dibia Nachi listened intently as Adanna recounted her story, trembling with fear and shame. The old man's face darkened with anger, but he spoke calmly. "Child, the gods have seen what has been done to you. Justice will come, but you must be brave." He handed her a small clay pot filled with a mysterious liquid. "Place this under your bed tonight. Whatever happens, do not be afraid." That night, Adanna followed the Dibia's instructions. When Obiajulu entered her room, the clay pot shattered, releasing a foul-smelling smoke. Obiajulu screamed and fell to the ground, writhing as if unseen hands were dragging him. His cries woke the entire household, who rushed in to see him convulsing on the floor. The Dibia arrived moments later, summoned by a servant. He declared, "Obiajulu has been cursed by the gods for his wickedness. He has defiled his own blood and brought shame upon his lineage." The next morning, the entire village gathered in the square. The elders, led by Dibia Nachi, held a council to decide Obiajulu's fate. After much deliberation, they banished him from Umiok. "Let him wander the forest alone," the Dibia proclaimed. "May he find no rest until he repents and the gods forgive him." Obiajulu's father, Ens Okafor, begged for mercy, but the elders stood firm. Adanna, though broken, felt a glimmer of hope for the first time in months. In the end, the village learned an important lesson: wealth and power cannot shield one from justice. Those who abuse their positions, especially against the innocent, will face the wrath of the gods. And so, Adanna began her journey of healing, surrounded by the love and support of her community. As for Obiajulu, his name became a cautionary tale, a warning that no crime goes unpunished in the eyes of the gods.